Imagine a force so profound, it can bend reality without a single spell being cast. How do individuals shape destiny or share a mind with a creature of the wild, all without touching the source? We're dissecting the unseen currents of influence, from the whispers of political strategy to the unbreakable bonds that transcend human form, uncovering the true nature of power in all its forms. It starts in the quiet moments, the ones no one notices, moments that don't involve channeling or swords or grand prophecies. A farmer sharing a meal with a stranger, a mother's quiet advice to her child, a look between two friends that speaks louder than words. These are the currents of power that slip through the cracks of magic and might, shaping fates without fanfare. They're relatable because we've all felt them. The way a trusted voice can steer your choices. The way loyalty can make ordinary people do extraordinary things. The way a bond with another living thing can expand your very sense of self. This is power stripped of spark and spectacle. It's human and beyond human connection, sharpened by purpose and rooted in truth. Take Paranibar, a blacksmith from the Two Rivers, who never asked to hear the howl of wolves in his head. He doesn't channel the source, doesn't wield a legendary sword, not at first, yet he shares a mind with creatures of the wild, a bond so deep he can sense their fear, their joy, their hunger. This isn't magic, it's a bridge, forged in trauma and trust. When Perrin first heard the wolves' voices, he thought he was losing his mind. But as the bond grew, he realized it was a form of power no Aes Sedai could teach. The ability to listen, to understand, to unify. He didn't bend the wolves to his will. He met them as equals, and together they became a force that could outmatch Trollocs and outthink Dark Friends. This is the mystery of unseen power. It doesn't demand control. It demands connection. Perrin's bond with the wolves didn't come from the source. It came from choosing to see them as more than beasts, from opening his mind to a world beyond human understanding. Or consider the quiet influence of Marin Olvere, Egwene's mother and the unofficial heart of Emon's field. She never left the Two Rivers, never faced a Forsaken, never channeled so much as a spark of the one power. Yet her words shaped the fates of the Dragon Reborn and his friends. When Rand, Mat, and Perrin fled the village, it was Marin who rallied the villagers to defend their homes, who kept hope alive when darkness loomed, who taught Egwene the courage to stand against Aes Sedai and Shadow alike. Her power was in her presence, the way she remembered everyone's favorite meal, the way she spoke truth without fear, the way she made people feel seen. When Moraine arrived in Emon's field, she didn't just seek the Tavern. She sought Marin, knowing that the village's strength lay not in prophecies, but in the woman who held it together. Marin's influence didn't bend reality with spells. It bent people's resolve with kindness and grit. That's the relatable magic of it. We all know someone like Marin, someone whose power lies in who they are, not what they can do. Then there are the whispers of political strategy, the invisible threads that weave through courts and villages alike. Moraine de Modred was a powerful Aes Sedai, yes, but some of her greatest victories came not from channeling, but from understanding human nature. She didn't need to cast a spell to make a lord bend to her will. She needed only to appeal to his ambition, his fear, his sense of honor. She didn't need to use the source to turn enemies into allies. She needed only to find the common ground in their goals. Her power was in the questions she asked, the silences she let linger, the lies she told that were rooted in truth. When she convinced Queen Alliandra of Ghealdan to aid Rand, she didn't dazzle her with magic. She warned her of the Shadow's threat, appealed to her sense of duty, and gave her a way to save her people. This is the unseen current of influence. It's not about force, but about alignment. Moraine understood that people don't follow power. They follow purpose. And purpose, unlike the source, is a force everyone can feel. The mystery deepens when we consider how these invisible powers intersect, creating ripples that span nations. Perrin's bond with the wolves let him gather intelligence no spy could uncover. Marin's influence kept the Two Rivers a safe haven for refugees. Moraine's strategy cleared a path for Rand to claim his destiny. None of these alone could have turned the tide against the Dark One, but together, unseen, uncelebrated, unconnected by magic, they became a force that even the Shadow couldn't ignore. This is the true nature of power. It's not in the hands of those who can channel the source, or wield legendary weapons, or sit on thrones. It's in the connections we forge, the trust we build, the purpose we share. We've all experienced this power in small ways. A friend's belief in you that makes you brave enough to take a risk. A stranger's kindness that restores your faith in humanity. A bond with a pet that makes you feel less alone. These are the same currents that shape the wheel of time, scaled up, sharpened by fate, but rooted in the same relatable truth. We are stronger when we connect, not when we stand alone. The mystery isn't why these powers exist. It's why we so often overlook them, dismissing kindness as weakness, connection as distraction, quiet influence as insignificant. As we dissect these unseen forces, we're forced to confront a question that echoes through the ages of the wheel. What if the most powerful magic isn't in the source at all? What if it's in the way we see each other, in the way we choose to stand together, in the bonds that transcend human form and political divides? Perrin's wolves, Marine's kindness, Moraine's strategy, all are testaments to a power that doesn't need spells to bend reality. It just needs hearts willing to open, minds willing to listen, and purpose willing to endure. This is the mystery we're unraveling. The power that exists in the spaces between magic and might, in the relatable moments that make us human, and more than human. It's a force that bends destiny not with a shout, but with a whisper. Not with a spell, but with a choice. Not with power, but with connection. And as the wheel turns toward the last battle, it's this invisible current, stronger than any forsaken, more enduring than any ingreal, that will decide the fate of the world. We've all felt it. We've all wielded it, even if we didn't know it. The question now is, will we recognize it when it matters most? The true nature of power isn't in what we can do. It's in who we choose to be and how we choose to stand together. And that's a mystery no spell, no prophecy, no source can solve. It's a mystery we solve with every kind word, every loyal act, every bond we nurture. It's a mystery that makes the Wheel of Time not just an epic of magic and war, but a story about us. We think we know power in the Wheel of Time. It's the spark in an Aes Sedai's eyes as she weaves the one power, a torrent of fire or water bending to her will. It's the thunder of a warder's sword, the glow of an angreal, the weight of prophecy on the dragon reborn's shoulders. For years, we've fixated on the visible, on the magic that cracks the sky and reshapes landscapes, assuming that's where true control lies. But what if we've been looking in the wrong place? What if power isn't about channeling the source at all, but about the unseen threads that bind hearts, steer fates, and stir something primal in the bones of the world? Beyond Aes Sedai and their weaves, beyond the flash of Saidar and Saidin, there exists a force far more subtle, far more pervasive, and far more transformative, and it's been shaping the Westlands since the wheel first turned. We often focus on the one power because it demands our attention. It's loud. It's spectacular. It can level cities or heal the dying in an instant. But today we're peeling back the layers to reveal the true forces that shape the world, the ones that operate in silence, in the spaces between words, in the bonds that transcend magic itself. These are the threads of influence that turn lords against tyrants without a single spell. The threads of destiny that pull a farm boy from Emond's Field to the throne of Cairhien, not because he can channel, but because he inspires loyalty. The threads of primal connection that let a blacksmith hear wolves' thoughts, or a village woman hold her community together through shadow and war powers that don't require touching the source, only opening oneself to the world around them. These are the unseen threads, and they're the reason the wheel doesn't just turn, it bends to the will of those who understand how to pull them. Consider Perrin Ibarra, once a simple blacksmith who feared the wolf inside him. He never channeled the one power. He never wielded a Sa'angreal or studied ancient prophecies in the White Tower. Yet his power grew not from the source, but from a primal bond, one forged in fear, then trust, with the wolves of the Westlands. This wasn't magic, it was resonance. He didn't command the wolves. He listened to them. He saw them as equals, not beasts. And in that connection, he found a strength no Aes Sedai could teach. The wolves became his eyes in the dark, his allies in battle, his voice when he couldn't find his own. They shaped his choices, guided his path, and turned him from a frightened boy into a leader who united humans and wolves alike against the shadow. This is power as primal as the earth itself, raw, unpolished, and rooted in belonging. It didn't flash or roar. It whispered, and it changed everything. Or take Marine Aver, the matriarch of Emond's Field who never ventured beyond the two rivers' borders. She couldn't channel. She couldn't fight Trollocs or outwit dark friends with political schemes. Yet her power, rooted in influence and kindness, shaped the fates of the Dragon Reborn and his companions. She was the one who taught Egwene to stand tall in the face of Aes Sedai scrutiny. The one who rallied the villagers to defend their homes when Trollocs attacked, turning farmers into fighters with a few quiet words. The one who fed Moiraine information about Rand, Mat, and Perrin for years, all while pretending to be nothing more than a concerned mother. Her power wasn't about control. It was about connection. She knew everyone's fears, their hopes, their secrets, and she used that knowledge to hold her community together, even when the world outside was falling apart. When Moiraine arrived in Aemon's Field, she didn't just seek the Tavern. She sought Meryn, because she understood that the village's true strength lay not in prophecy, but in the unseen thread of trust Meryn had woven through every household. Then there's Moiraine herself. Yes, a powerful Aes Sedai, but some of her greatest victories came, not from channeling, but from mastering the unseen. She didn't need to hurl fireballs to bend lords to her will. She appealed to their ambition, their fear, their sense of duty. She didn't need to use the Source to clear a path for Rand. She planted seeds of doubt in Darkfriend ranks, brokered fragile truces between warring houses, and turned enemies into unwitting allies, all with whispers, not weaves. Her power was in the art of influence, in understanding that people don't follow strength, they follow purpose. And purpose, unlike the One Power, is a thread anyone can pull. Moiraine knew that the true forces shaping the world aren't the ones that light up the sky. They're the ones that linger in the minds of kings, the hearts of villagers, and the silence between choices. Prepare to rethink everything you thought you knew about control and consequence. The One Power is a tool, yes, but it's a blunt one. The unseen threads, their precision, their patience. They're the difference between forcing someone to obey and inspiring them to believe. They're the reason a farmer's son can become the Dragon Reborn, not just because he can channel Saidin, but because people choose to follow him. The reason a village can survive a Trolloc attack, not because of magic, but because a woman named Meryn refused to let hope die. The reason a blacksmith can speak to wolves, not because of a spell, but because he chose to listen. We've been trained to look for power in the extraordinary, to gasp at fire and water, to marvel at Angreal and Terangreal. But the true power of the Wheel of Time lies in the ordinary, in the unseen, in the threads that bind us all. It's in the trust between friends, the loyalty of strangers, the primal connection to the world beyond humanity. It's in the ability to influence without commanding, to lead without forcing, to shape destiny without ever touching the source. This is the power we've overlooked, the power of the unseen threads. And as we pull at them, as we unravel their secrets, we realize something profound. Power isn't about what you can do. It's about what you can inspire, what you can connect, what you can nurture. It's about seeing the world not as a collection of forces to be controlled, but as a web of threads to be woven with care, with purpose, with the quiet courage to believe that even the smallest action can bend the wheel. So, forget what you know about the One Power. Set aside the sparks and the weaves. Today, we're diving into the heart of what truly shapes the Westlands. Today, we're following the unseen threads and discovering that the most powerful force in the Wheel of Time isn't magic, it's us. And the consequences of that truth? They're more far-reaching than any spell, any prophecy, any battle between light and dark. Prepare to see the world anew through the eyes of those who've always known that power isn't about being seen. It's about being felt.